Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who, whenever he needs information, he sends a remote control car out with a bottle of booze and hopes to capture a nearby wino so that he can give him all the information he needs about where the drug bust will be and what dock it'll be on. It's John Levingood.
I mean, hobo fishing is always been a pastime of mine, but it's best when like summer stock thespian hobos are available.
This guy knows everything. Whenever he needs this guy's, yeah, it's gonna be on Pier 4, but everyone's involved. I don't know where they are. Well, everyone's here. Okay, they're at Coney Island. But they filmed in Australia, so it's like a theme park that maybe looks like Coney Island. But yeah, that all right. So everyone, there's a scene in The Punisher. It was like released in 1989, came out in America in 1991 on video, where the Punisher has an informant, and he is like, I guess a homeless actor, alcoholic, homeless. He's done Hamlet, and the way that Dolph gets him, instead of being just like, "Hey, come here," he sends a remote control car out with a bottle of booze on the back, and he's not even looking about where it's going. And this is '89, so it's not like GPS. He snags the guy, and then he leads him around into a corner with the remote control car with the bottle of booze. And it's amazing, John.
Fancy seeing you here.
I love this movie, John. It's 90 minutes. Uh, it maybe features the worst Italian mafia people ever because it's just a bunch of Australians.
But pretty great too, though.
Oh yeah, the best one. Yeah, my kidneys, like my kidneys are killing me. Like it's dead up here. Uh, so basically,
I just have to ask though. When we first see the Punisher, the first thing I thought of, because I do not remember this. I do not remember most of this movie, as it turns out. I remember very few images of the movie that I had seen a couple times when I was younger. Did you, when you were a kid, do a lot of pencil shaving facial hair?
that mascara on Dolph is unbelievable. Now, the Dolph's credit though, John, he did not sleep a lot while making this movie, and so he does look suitably tired. It's just the pencil shaving beard and eyeliner that throw me off.
What's interesting is that from a distance, like when he's in jail or when he was just like kind of beaten up and kind of sleeping, slumped against the wall in his like Ninja Turtle sewer lair, when they film him from a up close, you're like pencil shaving beard, right?
Mhm.
Like makeup beard. Like almost like if your girlfriend or wife was being the man in your Halloween couples costume. Like it's actually a lot like that. It's not. It doesn't even look like they were trying to be very convincing. But at a distance, it actually just makes him look like he's emaciated,
Mhm.
like in Dawn of the Dead when he was about to start looking for brains.
Yeah, that's a great point because there are moments where you're like, man, this dude's tired. And Dolph also he laid off of weight training for this movie and trained specifically like in other areas like karate and like his professional days. And he lost a lot of muscle because he's like, the Punisher's been in the sewers for 5 years. He's not just going to be yoked. Like, he's not going to be Red Scorpion, John. He purposely lost weight and didn't sleep and just looked exhausted with a pencil shaving beard.
Yeah, this is the smallest I've ever seen him.
Yeah. But he did it on purpose because he's like, well, he lives in a
Yeah.
sewer for 5 years. Like he went very method on this. And John, okay, this is my thing. So this is I explained the plot to Megan. I was like, okay, so the Punisher, there was 10 minutes of additional scenes that were cut of him living a normal life. His family's killed, Louis Gossett Jr., stuff like that. But he's killed like 125 mafia members. Like he's legitimately cut them in half. Like he's slaughtered like at least a third of the made men on the East Coast. And okay, so they've gotten weakened by that. And because of that, the Yakuza come over and are like, hey, we're going to take your spot because you guys are wiped out. But then the Yakuza capture the mafia kids' children and they murder their housekeepers in very violent scenes. And then they're like, oh, we're going to sell them to the child sex slave or like, wait, what sex trade or like slave trade. And then Dolph is like, well, I guess I got to get involved because his kids were murdered by mafia people. So then Dolph has to go save mafia kids, and he teams up with the head mafia guy to battle a Yakuza on the 41st floor of a building. That's a crazy plot, John.
It's a lot like this is one of those 4 a.m. the deadline for the final script is at like 8 a.m. at a meeting, it's 4 a.m. and 3 writers are just all coked out. And it's like, and then the Yakuza show up. Yeah, and this Yakuza lady, she breaks this guy's arm, and they're like, now we're in charge. And it's like, all the ideas are just spitting out, and no one's looking back to see the sense that it makes with the previous ideas. They're just moving forward because in the beginning, you're like, yeah, Punisher's kid was killed by these mafia guys. He's killing all these mafia guys. Mafia gets weak. Yakuza comes in. Yakuza takes their kids. He's like, I got to help those mafia guys who took my kid get their kids back from the other mafia people who took their kids. You see what I mean? It's like it turns into one of these like cocaine fueled storytellings. Like, I'm surprised there wasn't a kitten with a machine gun riding a unicorn.
and he's riding his motorcycle through buildings. It's like
the narrow sewer. I don't understand. And the second floor on the grate in a warehouse. How did it get there?
Like, he rode his motorcycle all the way into that place. But you know what, though? Like you said, the villains in this movie are like the mafia guys. They're just a bunch of Australians pretending to be Italians very badly, but they're really funny. Like, there's this scene where this one mafia guy is like, oh, it's broken, his radio. And then another mafia guy walks up to it, fixes it immediately. And then they get into a big fight. Like, because the guy couldn't work his walkie, and then another guy figured out how to do it immediately. And then there goes, another guy's like, how you doing? I got bad kidneys. Like, they're just the strangest group of Italian mafia people I've ever seen in my life, but they're all so like gleeful about it that it's pretty fun, John. Like, this is a fun movie, but like you said, it's a cocaine fueled plot that came up with at 1 a.m. after multiple rewrites, and the guy who directed Remember the Titans wrote the script, but then everything was rewritten. They didn't put a skull on the chest of Punisher. They deleted a lot of the scenes, the feature acting, but it's still fun, John. Like, this is still a fun movie.
But I mean, for me, the fun isn't so much because it has a fun tone. Like, it doesn't really, only sometimes. For me, it's more fun because it's ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Like, it's so ridiculous. I by the way, speaking of ridiculous, like we have this, and this is a movie trope sometimes. You have this beautiful like ninja, but in this case, the head of the scuba ninjas and later the ninjas is this blonde American girl. Flew over from Japan with the Yakuza. I guess she was pulling like a Steven Seagal and training in her youth with them. But when she's kicking a heavy bag, she doesn't look like she knows how to throw a kick. I can't stress this enough. She kicks, she's like practicing in her gi, and she doesn't look like she knows what she's doing at all. They put no effort into making her look like she knows what she's doing. And she looks so unphysically tough. And she looks like if she punched Dolph as hard as she could, she'd dislocate or hurt something of hers. So, but of course, she gives Dolph a good fight, and I enjoyed the fight. And in the end, he just breaks her neck.
I think my favorite shot in the movie is when Dolph just steamrolls through a wall and then grabs her, then knocks through another wall.
Right.
They have their fight, and it's all red tinged. Like, it's the most, what the most unbelievable part for me is, so I get what you're saying about the adopted daughter and how they just kind of picked her off the street. So it's she never has a name. It's just something daughter. But there's a scene where Dolph goes to kill the mafia guy who's just gotten out of jail. He's from there's a whole subplot about a woman who becomes Louis Gossett Jr.'s partner. So Nancy Everhard, Deep Star Six's Nancy Everhard, becomes the partner of Louis Gossett Jr. because he was the partner of Frank Castle, but Frank Castle left him. But if they would have left the 10 minutes in, you see where she comes from to help out. But nonetheless, this mobster gets out of jail and he's like, 125 of us have been murdered by this guy. I'm not worried about him. And then Dolph shows up on the loudest motorcycle possible with no helmet. Everyone knows what he looks like. Rides past everybody in open sight. Shows up to this mobster's house, climbs through his air ducts without making any noise. This is a 6'4", 220-pound man climbing through air ducts, John, and no one hears him. First, he would get stuck. Second, he would fall through the air ducts. So that's I could roll with a lady that had just gotten taken off Rodeo Drive, giving Dolph a fight, but not him climbing through air ducts silently.
Yeah, that opening slaughter, by the way, that looked like it was the direct influence for the opening slaughter scene in Punisher Warzone.
Yeah, it does.
Like just the nature of it. It almost felt like this was used. They literally like watched it, and that just was the storyboard for what they elaborated upon with more movie budget and violence in Warzone.
Just hanging like the guys like, but you know what's funny, John? In this movie, Punishers killed 125, 150 mobsters. And all of them are like, we'll be fine. We'll worry about that later. John, if you and I are not mobsters, we are not made men. We are not La Cosa Nostra. We are not anything like that. We're not the movie mafia. But if there's a guy that has killed 100 plus of us in the last 5 years, I don't think the thought of like, hey, we'll be all right is, are they that full of themselves? Like, what, John, you're a mob boss, and 33 of your men have been killed in like the last month. Are you worried about it?
Dude, I am halfway through a bottle of vodka, chain smoking, saying the Baba Yaga.
Like, you can't just be like, we'll be fine. We're good.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was John Wicking his way through town, and that's the point of the movie or the story, where again the boss is just like he's just at peace drinking because he knows he's going to die.
Exactly.
He's just coming to peace with himself. And this guy's reaction, it's like a cartoon character. Like this, he is not even grounded in the reality of this movie.
No. And all your friends have been killed. You're dead. Like what? But I will say, this movie does have a very good idea to it. The Punisher kills all the mafia. Kills all the mafia. And there's a power vacuum. There's a gap. So someone's got to fill it. He goes and he kills all the mafia people, but then worse criminals come in. You know, like there's a battle and a lot of innocents start dying because he killed 150 mobsters, just hundreds of mobsters. And then he's like, wait, what do I do? Like, the mafia killed my family, but now there's a new crime syndicate that's worse because I killed all these guys. That's an interesting idea. Like,
And this is why we regulate hunting and have hunting licenses.
Yeah, that's why there's a hunt. So there should be a mafia hunting season for the Punisher. Within certain dates, it's still illegal, but you can, just to keep enough of them on the streets to not create an opening for a rival gang.
But not during like breeding season.
What's that, like winter in New York? Because everyone's just has nothing better to do.
Sure, but like somehow because you got to replace enough of them. The point is to lower their population and control it, not to eradicate it. Because if we have no deer, well, now the wolves are going to start. Now the wolves are coming out, like into the Canadian towns or something, looking for something else. I don't know. Maybe certain other animals start to get out of balance. I'm just saying he overhunted. He overhunted, and then, dude, this is like a global warming argument right now. he created a situation that was hotter than before.
Like, he really did, though. Like, and then they don't know how to stick up for each other. Like, they're all just dead. And then the Yakuza come in and just take all their children and sell them into the slave trade.
Dude, I gotta say though, so the Yakuza, they obviously have money, right?
Yeah.
And power, and these kids, like, they truly treated these kids like animals.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean? Like, if the mafia takes you, they're gonna put you in a nice room. Like, they're just gonna lock you in a house, in a room in a mansion.
With some ZD.
Some guy named Sal or Carmine is gonna be at the door all the time, right? But that's gonna be it. Like, they're not gonna mess you up, because if you return the kid damaged, it could create retribution, yet worse retribution than you were already fearing. So like, but they literally threw these kids, all of them, like in a cell without pads or mats to sleep on, without beds or chairs. It was like some old store. It looked like a cross between a storage closet and an actual prison cell.
Yeah.
And these kids are just sitting around huddling like a bunch of like Cold War POWs. I don't like, so they just did not care. Like, it was just very interesting to me the way that they chose to depict that.
Yeah.
Like,
and like, they're gonna sell them immediately. Like, there's nothing like, hey, remember like that Game of Thrones, they have Theon Stark, where it's just like Theon Greyjoy stays with the Starks. and he is a prisoner, but he can grow up with a family. But that means no one will try anything because they have the firstborn.
Right. It's
Like,
just an assurance without a wedding.
and then they get these kids and they're like, okay, we're just going to sell you. Like, you're gone. We'll get good money for you. Peace. Because they know the mafia is so weakened. They hire a bunch of like Joe's, like, is there like a John Wick hitman world there? Because in that diner scene, they just pay a bunch of people to murder the mobsters that are left. And these are plainclothes looking people.
White people.
Yeah, white people. Like, Yakuza
Right.
hire a bunch of white assassons, but they've already poisoned them. So I don't know
There
why
was like an old man and an old woman in there too.
Yeah,
Like,
with guns. Like, I don't think they blackmailed them, so there must be like an assassin market. They poisoned all of them, and then they hired a bunch of freelance hit people to kill the remaining mafia guys.
or they took their kids too, so that they do this. Yeah, that scene was pretty. Again, that in the most literal cartoon scene, all of a sudden everyone around you simultaneously pulls out a gun, and I don't mean like hard-boiled John Woo. I mean like simultaneously, like someone said 1, 2, 3, go, and everyone pulled out their guns. Like it was cartoon.
There's so much backstory in this movie that I want to know more about. I want to know how those people were hired. I want to know why the mafia are so dumb in this movie. They are spectacularly stupid. They're in a different movie than the people in this movie. I want to know more about remote control booze cars that bring your alcoholic actor informant to you. Like, I love this. I want to know more about muscle clubs. There's a casino in this movie. So John, you and I, we talked about Dark Angel. There's a lot of movies with strip clubs in this time. Action movies all had strip clubs, but this one's like a Cirque du Soleil strip club show. And then the worst music ever is played. I was gonna look up that song, but I didn't want my phone to remember it.
Or then give you suggestions based on it. You get all these skeezy like club rock songs. I don't know.
I guess a really bad song. But this world's very interesting, John, and I want to know more about it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I know enough about it, but I wouldn't have turned down like a lengthier cut of this movie. But now having seen this movie, which I haven't seen in a solid 20 years, I haven't seen it in 20 years sober and probably 25 or 30 years not, or I'm sorry, I haven't seen it in 20 years drunk and closer to 30 years sober. So I realized watching this movie, this is not the movie I remember it. What's funny, Mark, is that I remember the Punisher living in a really nice condo with a pool table and wine. I remember Dark Angel scenes just without the giant aliens as the Punisher. It's just that in my head, he had black hair. Like for real. I do not recall like any of this violence and these bad guys or these plots from the Punisher.
I confused part of it with Showdown Little Tokyo. Some of the scenes.
You mean the scene where you see his testicles from behind?
Yeah,
did you notice that, Mark?
Yes, the silhouette.
You see it, and okay, so there's this scene where you see him like kneeling. He's naked. He's kneeling
twice. They
like he's
bookends the
meditating,
movies.
right? Towards the beginning and at the very last scene of the movie, he's kneeling and the camera's closing in on him while he's kneeling and like meditating and thinking whatever, right? And the first time, I rewound it 3 times. The first time, I'm like, did I just see his balls hanging in the light?
Billy Madison.
And I rewound it and I'm like, those are his balls. And I rewound it again. I'm like, those are absolutely his balls. And then I'm like, I gotta let this movie go. Then it comes again. I'm watching and I'm like, oh, okay, watch closely, John. Pause. One side hung lower than the other. It wasn't even in a banana hammock, Mark. No, I'm serious. Because then you'd think, oh, he was probably wearing like a fishing line banana hammock, so it looks like he's naked from behind, but there's like a banana hammock. But if there's a banana hammock, it is rounded uniformly. One side was lower than the other with a little like crevice in the middle. Those were, unless they hung prosthetic testicles, those were Dolph Lundgren's slightly uneven, as we would expect in anybody, testicles hanging in the light. I just want to celebrate that.
It's just they're there. So I was doing in the research, I read about that. I was like, they're like, oh yeah, you
His
can see,
testicles?
yeah, because I never really looked. I'm like, well, it always just made me laugh that he was just sitting there doing naked like meditation. And I was like, this is so gratuitous. I mean, coming from he's in Showdown Little Tokyo, where Brandon Lee literally says, "You have the largest penis I've ever seen on a man." And also, I think he's also shirtless tortured in a lot of movies. John Red Scorpion, I think this one, Punisher, Showdown Little Tokyo. Like for
We
some
found his
reason,
training scenes in Rocky 4.
yeah.
He looks tortured in some of them.
Yeah. So I remember going and I was like, okay, does this happen? I'm like, geez Louise, like he couldn't have been happy about that. I don't think. But that's this movie though. It's he just lives in this. Okay, John, it would be so easy to follow him. Just listen for the motorcycle in the sewers. Like noise travels. And
So
Louis Gossett Jr. is so angry, and his partner goes so hard, like, you left your partner. He didn't leave you. He loves you. But there's no backstory between any of them because that was cut out in the first half of in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
but I feel like it
So
was such a lost opportunity, by the way, that neither the rookie cop nor the ninja lady were played by Cynthia Rothrock.
oh man, she would have been awesome. Well, she would have been a better second in command. Like she would have been a
Right.
better
No,
mad
but
dog.
either role,
Yeah.
because actually the short hair that she often had in that time frame also would have worked well with the look they had for the rookie cop.
And then she could have gotten in on the fighting too.
Right. I don't think she would have been that. She obviously would have cost more than that girl that was probably just getting paid scale. But still, I think she would have just done it to forward her career in American movies.
Yeah. Because
I,
she had done Yes Madam by then, but
that
I
was
don't
85, I think.
yeah. So she wasn't when was China O'Brien?
That was like that was like 89, 91.
Okay. That was like that was like her big run. China, yeah, not you're right, 90 and 91. So she could have done that in
'Cause
89.
there were two of those. So I'm just saying, like, big opportunity lost, or just actually get me a real martial artist, because neither of these women, I'm not saying they were bad actresses, but neither of these women were, bringing anything special. So I'll bet LA was loaded, or Australia, wherever they were, was loaded with people with a second degree black belt who want to be in a movie.
Well, the two villains that he fought in the like, when they're sitting still and Dolph walks past those two guys, they're actually
Oh yeah,
trained karate experts.
that was
And
actually that was a cool scene.
yeah, and so the reason for that, Dolph was saying that when he was making this movie, he said it was really tough. And this is his quote. He
You mean
goes,
dealing with people who can't fight?
no, no, he had to fight two guys who could. But see, the thing is, this is what he said. I wore this costume that had these heavy 2-pound boots. I had to throw kicks and fight these Japanese guys from Tokyo who thought they were in a real fight with me. They thought they were there to fight me for real. I remember that when they both died, they cried because they had to tell their families that they got killed. But it was just a movie, but it was a bizarre experience. They hired legitimate martial arts for those guys. So that's why that's the best fight. But because they died, they were pissed because that was
They're
their honor.
actors.
Yeah, but they weren't actors. They were like legitimate martial artists that they didn't want to train stuntmen, so they brought in real actors. And it's just hilarious though that those two guys like were real martial artists and they were pissed that they had to die. And then Dolph has said it in like 4 interviews. He's like, I had to fight those guys. Like if you watch that fight again, there's some like he slams one of those dudes into a wall and it's not a joke. Like he legitimately picks the guy up and slams him because he said that they were trying to fight him for real on the thing. Like he thought they were going to have a real fight, which is pretty amazing, John. So you have real martial artists, then you have people who aren't martial artists, and then you have Dolph Lundgren, who is a martial artist. It's just an odd one. And then you have an entire subplot, John, about the leader of the Gianni Franco, played by a Dutch actor. He's back, but then he puts on a jean jacket and gets an Uzi with a silencer, and the two of them have to fight Yakuza. This is a crazy movie, John, and I love it. Do you like this one more than Warzone?
No. No, I did not. This was an interesting watch, but I think that I would have certainly seen this once or twice in middle or high school. I definitely saw it at least once intoxicated in college. And then I haven't seen it since. And right now, at age 43, I think that I've filled my Dolph Lundgren Punisher quota for now. Now, could I revisit a Punisher Warzone? Yeah, like sure. I'd prefer it, being like 20 years, 10 or 20 years. But yeah, sure. Like there are too many movies out there, by the way. I'm not saying 10 or 20 years because I think it blows. I'm saying 10 or 20 years because we've just reached a point where there's so many movies that it's so hard to keep up with things. Franchise rewatches are becoming so rare in my life. For the number of franchise rewatches I do in a year, I should say, have gone down because there's so many other new things. But yeah, and maybe I'd watch them all. I don't know. Maybe I'd just watch that. That's tough to say. I think I'm done with this movie though. I think I'm good. This was very interesting to revisit though. Like there's so many neat things about it. You know what we haven't touched on that I really liked? It's a very late 80s, early 90s flair, is the Lady Yakuza's two very large henchmen.
Yeah, yeah.
How one of them was really tall with like classic Dolph Schwarzenegger hair, right? And really big. The other guy was slightly shorter, but actually slightly wider. And it made me think of when in the newest Bill and Ted movie where you see them in prison in the muscle suits.
Oh
And
yeah.
right, and Keanu, who's taller, is in this ridiculous muscle suit. It makes him look like he weighs 320 pounds. But then the other one's shorter. Alex Winter is shorter, but even wider, even more inflated with the muscle. And the outfits that these guys wore, the suits and ties on the tall one, love it. And the sweater that looked like a vest with a collared shirt and a tie printed onto his sweater vest. Like there was some, these guys were just visually precious.
And they were the real fighters too. It's like they were brought in to be that, and like, but they look great. Like I miss, you're right, I miss those kind of henchmen in the movies. But they, yeah, like two dudes, huge, visually. Remember when they go in the elevator and they just take over the whole thing? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
love that moment. I like those two guys are great. And I would say the fight that they have with Frank Castle or Dolph is probably the highlight of all the action in the movie, because the action in this movie is not great. Like the scuba ninjas, they throw these spike balls so hard that they imprint inside of someone's head, which I'm kind of wondering how hard you have to throw a spike ball to do that. You have the bus chase where Dolph gives this like another drunk guy his ticket back, which is kind of funny. Couple good stunts there. There's not too many action scenes in this movie. There's an action scene at a fun house where just about
With the
three,
sliding
yeah,
ninjas.
yeah. But like, you know what's crazy too? Like you're Yakuza, right? You come over to New York to take over. Frank kills about 30 of them before they capture him. So it's like, when do you count your losses, John? Like if you're the Yakuza, there's not that much Yakuza. And if like 30 of them are murdered in one day by one guy, like what do you do? I mean, if it's in the 80s, you just keep, you
Okay, wait. But if it's the 80s, I'm using 80s movie villain tactics.
yeah,
So what I probably did was I found we're all like the smoking, like vandal high schoolers hang out, and I recruited them for my Yakuza Foot Clan like a week before. And there I just put Uzis in their hands and told them to slide down these slides and just fire wildly. So really, they're just taking out these people that don't count to me. And
Mm,
I'm just going to go to another school district next week and get a bunch more. That's why they went down so easily. They were truly untrained mooks,
I like it. So untrained
right?
mooks.
So they were their Foot Clan, but not like the standard. They were like the new recruit Foot Clan. Like we just got these guys. We're testing them out. The test is essentially who survives our first ordeal. Okay, you get promoted. You're officially Foot Clan.
Oh, I like that. And if this is, late 80s, early 90s action movie logic, then you're going to find them easily.
Oh, there's going to be one alley where all of them hang out. They are all friends, right? In a way, they're all like allied together. Because like when I say, "Hey, you guys want to come be a part of some badass ninja clan with us and like make all gobs of money and get all the girls," and one of them's like, "Yeah, let's go," and then they all just walk out. That's
Yeah.
what's going to happen. That's exactly. It's like opening a musical number in Greece. Hey guys, let's go. They just all get line up and do the dance number.
It would be amazing. One guy shows up late and the entire alley's just empty. It's like, where'd everyone go?
He's the one who gets to live.
Yeah, they show up and it's just like everything went wrong with this movie though. Like The director didn't want to do it, that they eventually talked him into doing it. The studio kind of ran out of money to get it done. They cut it in 8 different ways. I think, yeah, it's just like one of those New Republic cheesy action films. But I guess what I like about these movies specifically is like there is a personality to this film, which I do like. Like just explaining it to Megan put a giant smile on my face because it's just so absurd. Like I kind of miss those movies like this that are just when you explain it to somebody, you're just like, this is crazy. And it makes you smile. Um, so I think in that regard, like Warzone is a much better movie, but this one is just fun for me, I guess, because you can confuse it with about 8 different movies of the era. Dolph is fine in it. He's just they didn't want to make Frank Castle seem cool, so they just gave him no lines. And I guess if you John, if you become a revenge-stricken murderer, you wear fake pencil shaving beard. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's then you have Louis Gossett Jr., who basically does nothing in the movie, and he doesn't like computers. He thinks about Pac-Man, and he has a map of Seattle with all of the Punisher sightings, even though it's a different city. Filmed
There
in
were a lot of
Australia.
there were a lot of weird little things in this movie. Remember when he was in the Yakuza lair and there were the paper walls, and there were paper walls on either side of him. He's in a hallway and he kills one person, and
Yeah.
then he pulls out a knife and he stabs the wall. I want to be clear. He didn't swing his hand through the paper. He stabbed someone who was on the other side of the wall. Like the entire time he was fighting the other guy, someone was standing with their back or chest pressed against the paper wall so that it was like stabbing the wall. And then you hear them like fall like I'm like, what was that person doing? I don't like it. And there are people, the lady ninja, the blonde rodeo drive lady ninja, she gets killed by having a very small knife. I want to stress this, a very small knife that is thrown sidearm, the weakest way you could possibly throw a knife. And it's a small knife, and it penetrates her forehead. It impales her forehead. Like realistically, that would like get stuck and then fall from its own weight down because of how thick your forehead is. Right? It wasn't a huge, massive knife. I don't even know if people do that with a huge, massive knife, Mark. Like there was that torture scene, by the way. We mentioned that torture scene. That
The stretching scene.
this Yakuza woman who's so ruthless suddenly turns into Rainbow Bright G-rated when it turns into torturing someone. They're like stretching him, and every time they stretch him and they stop, it releases and it goes back to normal. And then they just pull again. It's like, lady, literally just start sawing off a toe and then another toe, maybe the penis. Let's go ahead and mean business right away. Like she's doing this, she's just exposing him to this light pain. She's not even dislocating anything. Like she is the worst.
Yeah, she really is. That's a really
And,
bad. And they have wing
and this is
nuts. They
and
can
this is a
easily untie, John, when you're
and,
strapped to
and
this
this is a
thing.
trope too, though. This is a trope though.
Yeah.
Like all torture scenes, I remember people were saying it might have been Casino Royale. I think it might have been the first Daniel Craig Bond, where he's sitting in the seat naked and they cut the bottom out of the seat, and the guy like winds up like a heavy sack and whacks him in the testicles.
Yep.
And everyone's like, oh my gosh, that was like the most brutal torture scene ever to try and get him to talk, but he didn't talk because he's James Bond. I'm like, oh, what if he got a pair of $1.99 scissors and slowly started, okay, forgive me, audience, I'm not trying to get explicit here, and slowly started cutting the scrotum? I think that he'd get answers a lot faster. Like, but movie villains simply suck at torture. It's not like it has to be genital based to work. I'm just saying, like, they always do these things that I feel like a mother protecting her children would endure. Like the most untrained person, in other words, would endure these tortures that we see in movies from these villains who are otherwise so ruthless and have all these like, are we kidding?
I think okay. I I think you're 100% right. The torture is terrible here. And I also think that maybe all these henchmen in general are just terrible. Like this is a world where all the henchmen miss hundreds of bullets. They stand chest first and get stabbed with a knife. Well, there's
These
others.
were all the henchmen that survived from Commando. She hired them.
Yeah, and you know it's interesting. The guy who directed this edited. He was the editor of Commando.
That's where see thousands of bullets missing. This is why. Like, and Dolph is usually standing out in the open.
Standing out in the open, but like these guys. Like, so I'm trying to think about other bozo new moves by henchmen. Like these are not good henchmen.
But the torture, she was there. Lady Yakuza was right there.
Mm-hmm.
She was a part of this bankruptcy of intellect when it came to like getting something done. But again, this is systemic. They never properly torture the protagonist ever. They never do.
And then, like, they come into town and are like 75-25. Then they immediately steal their children. Like they're good at stealing children. Like maybe you should just hire this Yakuza gang to steal children, and that's it. Not run the drug trade. That could
And that could
work.
be its own, yep, its own business. And just start stealing children of people in the drug trade. Get their money. And then be
Imagine,
like, you're gonna cut us in 75-25. And they'll be like, to run our business, like, we have your children. And they'll be like, all right, I guess we're just gonna do it. And then she's still gonna sell the children anyway.
so the slave traffickers, you take their children and sell them into the trafficking. Is that what you're saying?
I guess so, man. It's just I'm just saying it's all I mean the logic works. If she can get these kids so easily, you just get everybody's kids.
Oh man, and like I just love this movie. There's that one scene where like Jimmy's one of the bodyguards, and he's like, "Hey, meet Jimmy." Oh, and then they go on their little drug crusade, and their casino gets blown up by Dolph. Oh, okay. There's a scene where they're gonna shoot this guard, and then the Punisher goes, "Stop, stop," and he goes, "Psst," and he psts one of the Yakuza, and then he just punches the Yakuza out. Like that's.
And then he leaves him though.
Yeah,
What's interesting to me is that like he
and they
could
shoot the
regain
other guy.
consciousness. He could regain consciousness in like I'm not saying it's probable, but he could come to in a couple minutes.
And have his
Then
gun.
you got someone coming from your other side with a gun.
I love this movie, John.
He just leaves him there. Like what was it? There was a scene, that warehouse thing before the ninjas were sliding down, or maybe no, it was when he was leaving. No, they caught him there. What am I thinking of? It was a scene though where he's leaving some kind of a warehousey building, and he jumps from a second story, and when he lands, you don't hear a sound like a cat, and you don't see him land, but then you just see him like rising from the jump, and I'm like, you just exploded both your kneecaps. And he's like, I'm 6'4" and almost middle aged. I'm fine.
And just this is such an 89. Like so it's filmed in 89, but like or like this is such an late 80s action, like direct to video action film. I and I love it. I do because John, we've watched a lot of action films. Do you think this one has a personality going for it, or do you think it doesn't know what it is, and that's why? Because Dolph is super serious, but he has some jokes. You have the world's worst mafia and henchmen. Then you have Louis Gossett, who's an entirely different movie altogether. Like there's about 4 different movies here. Do you think that like makes it a less enjoyable film, or do you think it makes it more enjoyable because none of it really blends, so it has this really odd personality, which is memorable? Like, what do you think about this film?
I think this movie has multiple personalities. I think that it's just fun because it's ridiculous, is what it is. I think that that's what gets us into it. That that it's not even just that it's over the top. It's that it's over the top in ways that are from different movies. Like it's it's consistently inconsistent in the different flavors of batshit that it is.
Why are the Yakuza the villains in this film when it's Frank who wants revenge on the mafia?
It's a good question, Mark.
Because
This goes back to the cocaine writing room a few
yeah,
hours before
yeah,
deadline. I think
because it never feels because I don't think they wanted to make a Punisher movie. They didn't even put the Punisher on his chest, so it's
they just put it on the hilt of a small knife.
yeah, that's just an odd decision, but it's yeah, I don't know, I don't get it. I still like it, and I bought this movie for like $5, John, and it's available on YouTube. And I love that the director is the director wanted to edit Terminator 2, Bad Boys, He had already edited Terminator. He also did Howling and Piranha. So like this guy was a pretty big name in regards to like being an editor. And then he just made 2 movies, and then that was kind of it.
What was the other movie?
He made, let me look. He signed a 2-picture deal with Mark Goldblatt. He also directed, let me pull this up. You should really look at his, he edited some crazy movies. So he also directed, I am pulling it up. I'm trying to stretch this out as long as possible. Dead Heat.
Oh, Dead Heat. Wait, the zombie cop movie?
Yeah, Treat Williams and Piscopo.
I love that movie.
Yeah, see? It's good.
That is actually good. What's funny is that people who haven't seen that movie in like 20 years are like, oh, that dumb thing. And then you watch it, it's like, this is a legit action movie and a legit horror movie. And there's a good budget for both the gun action and the horror. Like, that's a lot of money. People don't realize sometimes, like, when you combine these things, all this practical makeup and you know, these gore effects and stuff, and all this gun and explosion, that was a good movie. Well, I mean, not a good film though, folks.
Yeah.
No Oscar nominations or anything here, but it was highly entertaining and very well produced. Like, I really enjoyed that. I saw that just like a year or so ago. So that was like 88, right? That was before this. So that just tells me that everything went wrong with this.
I mean, he didn't write the script, and he didn't even want to make the movie because the script wasn't good. I think this is just one of those things where they like Dead Heat, so they signed him to another one. They're like, go make this movie. And so, you know, everyone liked, like, by all accounts, like, people Dead Heat, like, people dug it. Like, it only made like 3.5 million, but didn't cost that much. And it's just a good like 86 minutes runtime. So yeah, I think they were like, hey, go to Australia and make this movie. But then just everything went, you know, haywire because New World Pictures fell out. They couldn't market it. You know, like, here, like, what are some of these movies here? So like New World. Let me go through their run up to this. So they had done, oh man, they did Soul Man. That's not good. Well, they did Vamp, you know that one. They did No Retreat, No Surrender. That's a fun movie right there.
I liked Vamp. No Retreat, No Surrender was a little hokey, but I enjoyed it.
Black Moon Rising, the Tommy Lee Jones car movie. They also did House, that classic film House. But see, by this time, oh, then they did Heathers. Oh, hey.
Oh,
wow. But yeah, by this point though, they did Hellbound, Hellraiser 2.
Oh, awesome movie.
But The Punisher was their second to last film. So their last one was Die Watching. Then they had Warlock was one of their last ones, and then they did Killer Tomatoes Eat France. So this was kind of by the end of their run. They kept going on in TV, like they did Silk Stockings and stuff like that.
I have so many things though that I respect and enjoy, and this is really low, by the way, among them. Then
I think it's just because they just were running out of money. They also did Chud. Like rare, they brought some like really cool movies out. Like they yeah, just look what they did. Like the Slumber Party Massacre, that's another fun one that people need to watch more. But yeah, so this was by the end of their run. I think maybe they just didn't have too much more money to promote it. I think there was just too many cooks in the kitchen, and they were just struggling to get something made. And then you get this film. But yeah, I think they also did Hellraiser. But yeah, this is one of those movies I think
Hellraiser 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think it's one of these movies where, oh, and Hell Comes to Frog Town, John. Classic.
Billy Bob Thornton.
No, that's oh yeah. Wait, and
Roddy Piper's in it too.
Roddy Piper, yeah. And I think this is just by the end of it. And like you said, a cocaine script makes no sense. Like, he hates the mafia. Why would he team up with the mafia to fight the Yakuza?
It's funny. I remember less action, but cleaner, less silly action. And again, I remember Frank Castle living in the I Come in Peace condo.
And like, I feel like I combine this with the alligator in the sewers, because I just remember him in the sewers a lot more.
That's a great movie too.
Oh yeah, that one's I love that movie so much. Like, that's actually a good movie. Like, that's a good movie.
I really enjoyed
good film.
Part
it's
2's
actually
hot garbage though.
Yeah, hot garbage. But the first one's actually, I would say the first one's actually a good film. Like, it's enjoyable, but it's not like one of those so bad it's good. It's so good it's good.
It's got great shots in it. They did a great job with that animatronic gator.
And Forster's hilarious in it. Like, he's like, let's go kick that alligator's ass. Like, And
And
everyone kept
his
in his hair. Everyone kept commenting on his hair, but he wanted that added in there because he said that he was just worried about what people were going to say about his hair.
him and that young woman, yeah.
Yeah, and she's funny too. She's like, "You want to go look at my rock collection?" But yeah, getting back to the Punisher, I mean, there's a reason why it's not. It doesn't have like it has a nice edition from us, like Australia, like released a nice edition of it with like the director's cut and the added stuff. But it's not one of these movies I think that people look at as. I think the only reason it's ever brought up anymore is simply because it's one of the early Marvel films. If this was called the Revenger or the fake beard brigade or the revenge in Australia film, it would just be a Dolph curiosity. But I think since Punisher's attached, it still remains somewhat talked about because it's part of the MCU, like Marvel lore, so it always gets brought up. But I think that's the only reason why. I don't think it's good enough to be totally like Red Scorpion is much better action. I don't think it's funny enough. It's not there's not tons of gratuity in it. It's just a fun little 90 minutes. But that only remains relevant because of the name. Do you think that's true?
Red Scorpion.
Yeah. No, no, no. This film,
Oh, this,
Punisher.
yeah, yeah, and well, and like we love Dolph Lundgren, so we
Yeah.
chose to watch this and do this, right now, and we're never going to speak hatefully about it, even
No.
if it was objectively not great. Like, it's but it was entertaining. It was fine. But yeah, I think that helps it a lot. This is funny because I recently, like, actually, so I just got through Hurricane Milton, and right before we lost power, we watched the original Red Dawn with Patrick
Ooh.
Swayze, Charlie Sheen, C. Thomas Howell, Leah Thompson, Jennifer Grey, huge cast, right? So we watched that, and I'm like, oh man, like I'm explaining to Sarah and my stepmother, like, okay, let's watch this. This is what this is about. I explain it, and we watch it, and my memory of this is like, oh, this movie's awesome. Wolverines. It's horrible. I'm sorry. It's like there's some fun scenes, but like it's bad in a way where a bad scene from Punisher looks great. It is horrible, and the writing is even worse. Clearly, there are scenes that were deleted because there are story elements that don't make sense. And I'm like, people talk about this movie. This movie was so beloved it got remade with Liam Hemsworth.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Liam
Chris
Hemsworth,
Hemsworth.
right? Or Chris
Chris.
Hemsworth. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
they brought in the
with
big
Chris
one.
Hemsworth. So they did a big remake of it, and I'm like, yeah, like, but the original in my head, I'm like, the original. We watched it; it was garbage.
Yeah.
And respectfully, I don't necessarily have a recollection of original Punisher being great. But what I didn't remember it being what I would call like a bad movie Tuesday, and this is a bad movie Tuesday.
But you can have fun with this with a group, right? Could you have fun
Absolutely.
with yeah. Yeah.
Right, but in that popcorn bad movie way, it's in fact going to be better the more people you have to giggle and point and laugh and say, "Oh my gosh, look at that." I think, and not purely in ridicule, but partly in ridicule. Like in Red Dawn, though, Red Dawn is like that. Although it's literally less good, even though it has such a great cast. I was baffled by that. It's so funny how some of these movies that we revisit, I'm like, what did I just watch? Like, that was not what I thought of. And then other times I rewatch something, and we end up saying, I never realized how amazing this movie was. 20-year-old John couldn't appreciate that like 40-year-old John can. It's funny doing these revisits because they're all over the place.
And I do think Red Dawn is great for younger kids because it's younger kids, it's high schoolers and middle schoolers battling Russians. So when you watch it when you're younger, it's pretty great because you're like, yeah, Wolverines. Like, man, these kids are my age and they skipped high school and they're murdering people. I think that's when that's what made it work for me. Did you kind of have that or no?
Well, that's what my recollection is. It's just that I don't. I'm going to say something that's going to sound horrible, but I don't know how I was so stupid to not to instantly forgive the horrendous writing and editing flaws of that movie. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess when I'm 14 and we're not as experienced in movie watching and movie criticizing, if you will, it's just like you just go with it. I
Mm-hmm.
guess you just more like happy go lucky about it. But like I watch it, like that movie's garbage, Mark. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That movie that I'm like, yeah, I'm like trying to convince my fiance and my stepmother to watch this with me, and I'm like, it's so good, and it's like, and they're just looking at me like, what? Like they're upset with me. Like, what did you do? Like, well, we started it. Can we finish it? Like,
Great cast though. Like, I
it
mean,
is a great cast. It's a
yeah.
wonderful cast. Leah Thompson, by the way, that is a year before she did Howard the Duck.
That movie.
Strangely, she was 23 though in during Red Dawn.
All right. So John, can we do something before we
Maybe.
get out of here?
Oh.
1991 action movie draft. I'll give you
Oh
some time to
boy.
pull it up.
All right.
I'll give you first
19.
pick, but no T2 because I feel like that's just
So I can't pick the best action movie.
yeah. Because I mean, any list with T2 is just done, right? I mean, if you want to do it,
No, it's okay. I'm
okay.
fine. I'm fine with that rule because that honestly that one stands out like so hugely
Yeah.
that it's just okay. I'm going to go with Backdraft.
Oh, good pick. I'm taking Stone Cold because that movie's
Stone
insane.
Cold. I got to revisit that.
Brian Bosworth has a monitor lizard as a pet instead of like a dog, and it's amazing.
All right, choice two. I'm going to pick Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Whoa, that's a big one. All right.
Everyone loves criticizing the lack of the British accent, but I don't care.
Listen, after hearing Benedict Cumberbatch's accent in the Mauritanian, I'm totally fine with Kevin Costner not even trying. Like I'm fine with it. Like we've had enough. Right, anytime Ray Spall does an American accent, I look back to Kevin Costner. I'm like, thank you. I just want to put that out there. I'm going to take Point Break to
Okay,
challenge Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
I was eyeing it. Okay, wait. What are our two so far?
Okay, you have Backdraft and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I have Stone Cold and Point Break.
I'm gonna go Double Impact.
Oh, good pick. Double the JCVD. I'm gonna take Showdown in Little Tokyo. And the reason I'm doing 1991 is because that's when this came on the video in the States. So I picked because we've already done 89.
Okay, all right. Starting to run a little thin here. Okay, I'm gonna go with the batshit wonder and most inexplicable plot of Highlander 2.
Whoa. Highlander 2, The Quickening. All right. That's a good pull. I like it. Okay, Highlander 2, The Quickening. That when I was young, I watched that movie and I remember just thinking, this isn't it. Like I even as a kid who knew movies that like I could let movies have so many faults, John. But I do remember watching that and just kind of being like, I don't know. This isn't it. Okay. Oh, John, we've left some big ones out there. We have Secret of the Ooze out there. We have New Jack City, Last Boy Scout. But I'm gonna take Out for Justice.
Is that pick five? Are we at pick five?
No, yeah, you're at pick 5 now.
That was your pick five?
Yep. No, that was my pick 4.
And my pick five is up. Okay, my pick five.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're up.
Operation Condor.
Oh, that's a good one.
Get some Jackie Chan in there.
All
We're
right,
trying to cover the action star bases.
all right, then I'll take Once Upon a Time in China for some Jet
Oh,
Li. There it is. So we have Backdraft, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Double Impact, Highlander 2, The Quickening, Operation Condor. Then we have Mark, and let's make up another character. Let's do Dolph. Dolph is going to take what 5 movies should Dolph take that we didn't pick, John?
okay. I'll take his first pick.
Okay.
Dolph's first pick of the dregs that we left behind will be the Guyver.
Oh, the guy, yes.
Dolph's pick is the Guyver.
I'll give him The Last Boy Scout.
Okay. Yeah, we left Bruce Willis out entirely there.
Yeah, no Hudson Hawk either. All right, what else are we gonna do?
Some of these things I don't even consider action.
Yeah, they're more like thrillers.
Dolph wants Out for Justice.
Oh wait, I picked that one.
Oh, you picked. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Shit. We're doubling down on Bruce Willis. Hudson Hawk.
Okay, and then I'll do McBain.
One more.
Yep.
Ooh. Oh, dude, I've got the pick.
What is it?
I got the Eve of Destruction.
All right, Eve of Destruction.
You remember that movie?
No, I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh my god, dude. I think it's a Gregory Hines is hired to hunt down Eve, which is like a robot woman that like gets a short circuit and so he's hired to, it's almost like can I think like a Harrison Ford, you know, chasing an android situation.
Oh, that's amazing. All right.
Eve
So
of Destruction.
we have Backdraft, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Double Impact, Highlander 2, Operation Condor, Stone Cold, Point Break, Showdown Little Tokyo, Out for Justice, Once Upon a Time in China. Then we have The Guyver, The Last Boy Scout, Hudson Hawk, McBain, and Eve of Destruction.
That's actually still a pretty good list right there at the end.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
pretty good.
All right. Well, this was great, man. Any final thoughts about The Punisher?
Oh, I it's just it's like a word of caution. Make sure you're in the mood for a bad movie if you're going to choose to watch this, and then it will be a very enjoyable watch.
Yeah.
But like, don't watch this thinking like I'm going to go watch this gritty crime action, you know, Punisher movie. Don't do that. That's what I did, and luckily I'm also a fan of bad movies, so I pivoted real quickly when I realized what was going on. But just be careful of what your expectations are of the style of this movie.
You will be watching a fundamentally flawed film, but just enjoy it.
That's polite. That's
Yeah.
very diplomatic.
Hey, John, so where can people find you?
Oh yeah, you just Google John's Horror Corner and you'll find me in most places, including a little tab at the top of the screen in Movies, Films, and Flicks.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe. We're at 74 right now on Apple Podcasts, so I'd love to get to 75. Write a review. That actually helps us a lot. It helps the AI overview help us. We had a very kind AI overview of our show, so that's nice. So yeah, help us write reviews, help AI think that we're awesome, and then help our search engine optimization. It would be greatly appreciated. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for John Livingood, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.